And something I liked in the Mirroring Hands book is the amount of talk there is about physics. Now, I love physics, and I know there's always this kind of, you have the soft sciences and the hard sciences. But what I love is that there's the talk about physics, because obviously a lot of what Rossi has worked on and yourself has been down to a genetic level. And so it's all biological. It's not just doing, say, a psychological theory or something. It's actual biology going on. And obviously biological systems are physical systems. And you bring in quantum stuff. I love the work of Jim Al-Khalili and people like that on quantum biology, and how, you know, a photon of light can hit a leaf and somehow it seems to find the minimal amount of energy to its destination, as if it knew the route. And the only way possible is if it went every route, and as soon as one of the routes got to the destination, that became the route. And like with birds flying and detecting magnetic lines and stuff like that, and it's thought that there's possible things going on in human brains as well, although it's a bit harder to just cut humans open while they're fully active. And you know, so you have to wait for someone who's got a specific issue that needs an electrode put in or something, who's willing to also then be part of a scientific experiment.
It's the recurrence of these principles and elements through all of nature. So they express themselves in the quantum level in one way. They express themselves in the macro level in another way. They express themselves on astrophysical levels in another way again. And the nature utilizes the same qualities, and everything sort of emerges out of this. But we've got this wonderful, this wonderful aspect of looking at the physics, because that's natural too. From the world, physics emerged, and there's elements there. Now, for some people, the physics won't be a way in which they necessarily resonate, but for many it will. For some, when they start looking at physics from the point of view of the human experience, they'll start to get physics a bit better, which would be really cool. And I've explored those lovely quantum experiments and tried to write them in an understandable way. And it's just this idea that we can utilize what is natural within us. So we talk about 4-stage cycles and ultradian rhythms. These will all be, you know, I suppose we all have to sort of wait till we come over, read the book, and I'll describe them and come to see your stuff.
Answered. We'd had a few questions. One was from Tony about the whole physical thing. We've answered that, about the impact on the body and how it can affect physical conditions someone could present with. The other one was about what if the hands don't come together? If you're kind of expecting them to.
Yes, and that just in the point of are the hands doing something? Is the client working? And if the client is working and they're moving very slowly together, then shut up. Leave them alone. Let them kick on. If the hands have come together a little bit and stopped, nothing's happening. Is there a word or two you would like to share with me, or are you continuing with your inner work? You know, check in. But if all you're looking for is a response, like a basic accessing question, are you connecting? And there's a bit of movement. Well, that's it. The responsive stuff. But I know with Susie, I did a session very early in our relationship, and I was asking her to review what had gone in her past, and her hand was up and it was moving down. It was actually, the elbow was on the bed, and it would go, and then would stay there for like 5 minutes, but her face was moving and there was a certain amount of tear work, and then the hand would go, This went on for, it took 40 or so of these things, a good hour to come to. And when she reviewed within about 4 or 5 minutes. And essentially what she said, well, Richard, I don't want to, we didn't know each other really all that well, I suppose. She said, there's a lot of shit that's gone down, and actually it's really simple what I do to fix it. I said, wonderful. Anyway, I married her. So that was terrific.
I'm hoping that we haven't covered too much of what's specifically in the book, because people can just read that. And in my mind, what I wanted to get out of having an interview was to try and touch on the broader stuff that, as soon as you put something on paper, you're limited to what you're going to decide to include in the pages. Because or else you could write a book that's 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 words long to think, I'm interested in that, so I'm going to fill the paper, and it just gets longer and longer and longer and longer and longer. So what you do is you become a scientist, so you can keep writing papers, and they keep studying everything as well. So I didn't want to cover exactly what was in the book. I wanted to try and see
me too.
A broader view of, what's the sort of overarching stuff that's led to what's in the book and that's building on what's in the book. And likewise on your training, I know you run it in Australia, and you're going to do something in America next year, I think, hopefully.
Yeah, we've got our fingers crossed. We're starting to negotiate for that now.
Europe, you're going through Europe?
Yeah, I'm in through Europe. We're talking to friends in we've got a group in Italy that are very interested in, and then next year I'm in Germany talking at the Ericsson conference there, and hopefully we'll be visiting some of Ericsson, the Mirroring Hands and Rossi friends up in Scandinavia. So. So now sort of I'm a bit organised a year or so or two ahead in my life. Never had that before. Yeah. So this is very exciting.
Before we get your web address, I know you always have .au at the end, just to throw everyone. Is there a richardhill.com?
There's a richardhill.com. He's fabulous. He's a real estate agent in America. So if you don't want to be psychologically improved, go buy a house. But
but finally, what's your cutting edge? What's where you feel things are now?
I think the exciting thing that's going to be happening, and it's starting to do and moving a bit quicker, but it's this thing of holding the wrong end of the stick. We need to utilize the knowledge, sort of things that Ernie's talked about, to give us support to say we can do this in a different way. And the way in which I'm getting excited about is reinvesting our thought in what is natural, how to heighten its possibility, but really about putting things all back together again. It's like Humpty Dumpty fell off the cliff and everybody took a bit of shell. We just got to all come back together. And I think this is the exciting process for the next 10 or 15 years. But we've got to get over a whole lot of really deeply entrenched ownership of space. So my prediction is that what I'm working towards is how we can unown the space and give it back to ourselves and to others to return to a more understanding and engagement with our natural frames. So that's what I'm looking forward to. So yes, with the website richardhill.com.au. Come in, learn all about things, lots of fun, the mirroring hand side, but also my neuroscience side. And there's lots
you'll have all the places you're lecturing and
yes, we'll have those things, and we're going to do a page for the London workshop as well. So, but I'm sure there's other things that'll go and look at where it's at and look at how busy I am and feel sorry for me.
Well, cool. Thank you for sort of joining me today at this interview. At least it's not had to be an extreme for either of us. For you, it's the evening, and for me, it's the morning.
Yeah, we did well.
And apologies at my end. There's no grass here, pretty much, because it's been so hot. What we've got is this brown kind of thing on the ground that's not got the energy to grow at all. And they decide to mow the lawn while I'm in the middle of a
yes, he whacked the hell out of it with a whippersnipper or something.
So
that's fine.
So apologies to people who think, what's going on in his end? So Nick, thank you for doing this interview.
Okay, my pleasure.